Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Conversations with My People. Okay, we are at September 16th. Fall is definitely on its way in. We're definitely in a bit of a holding pattern for sure. At least here on the West Coast, things are getting even a little crazier with all these fires, and just keep sending prayers and energy for there to be a shift so that things can really change, because it's, first of all, it's horrible what we're going through. And second of all, the air quality. I mean, we can't even go outside now. It's just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And it just makes me realize how much stronger we have to be. We just have to work so hard on having that inner peace and having these strong nervous systems so that we can just keep handling this craziness, this adapting, right? We have to be able to adapt. Whew. So today we're going to be talking about pivoting, which those of you that have been watching know that this is definitely a topic that we love on Conversations with Our People. And what we're really learning is that it's really a true entrepreneur that knows exactly how to pivot. They also know why and when to pivot. Successful entrepreneurs understand the importance of adapting to a rapidly changing business environment. In fact, adaptation is one of those superpowers that I talk about all the time about entrepreneurs. That I always said that I felt like my superpower was being able to adapt. So our whole economy has been on a merry-go-round, right? Due to COVID. And when things stop spinning, and I do believe that things will stop spinning, we're going to notice that the successful entrepreneurs were the ones that knew when to pivot, the ones that searched and found those opportunities in the chaos. So today I am thrilled to be joined by a young, very dynamic entrepreneur who is out there in the marketplace figuring out what her businesses need to do right now to adapt to this new reality of social distancing, the way people are shifting the way they're buying habits, and major changes in the whole way we live our lives and think about our health and well-being. My guest today is Erica Malbon. She's already launched two very successful brands, and she does have her finger on the pulse of this current market and is going to share with us some very interesting ideas about how you can create and get in touch with your community, your customers, even when we all can't be in that same place. And I believe that because we're all really missing and craving for our connections with communities, these brands that can actually deliver those connection points and create experiences for people at this time, those are going to be the brands that will succeed. And one other thing about Erica is I believe she's actually launching a new brand. I believe it's next week. She's launching a new brand. So what I know about this woman is, in the middle of this chaos, in the middle of this craziness, she has the guts, the grit, and the confidence to launch a brand. And one thing all of you know out there about me is those are the three main things: confidence, grit, consistency, what makes a successful entrepreneur. So everyone, I am so excited to introduce to you the fearless, and I say fearless, Erica Malbon. But before we start, we're going to do our 3 breaths, okay? So my request today is to really think about someone who you know needs some healing. We all know people out there, friends, family, acquaintances that are just suffering a little bit. So when you do these deep breaths, put those people in a big bubble of light. Send them healing energy, send them love. So when you're breathing today, you're going to breathe for yourself and you're going to breathe for others, okay? So let's start with our deep breaths. We're going to inhale for 4. You guys know the drill. Hold the breath for 5 and exhale. And really don't just visualize, but feel it. Really feel that person that you want to send this healing energy to today, okay? I know I have somebody in my heart who I am sending her strong healing energy. So think about the people that you want to send that to, okay? Inhale for 4. Hold your breath for 5 and visualize that person. You're sending them love, healing, truth. Exhale, ha. 2 more. Inhale for 4. Hold your breath. Exhale, ha. Inhale, love. Hold your breath. Exhale, ha. Welcome, Erica.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Oh my God, you look amazing. You're glowing.
So are you? I'm like looking at all that great light. I was looking online. I was like, oh my God, I need to get one of those special cameras that with a special light so I can have that Zoom glow.
This isn't really a special light, but I'll show you later. My husband actually watched a YouTube of how to look your best on a YouTube meeting. And the next thing I know, he set this up for me. And it's literally like a $15 thing. It's amazing.
You're gonna have to send me that link.
Yeah, I will. So Erica, we're going to jump right in there. And I know you've been thinking a lot about the very subject. So I want to ask you, how do you think that this pandemic has challenged the traditional concept of spas and wellness businesses? How has it accelerated certain inevitable changes? And specifically, how has it encouraged you to change your own business model? So obviously, for my clients that, people that are watching that don't really know you, like you created the NOW, which is amazing, amazing massage and wellness concept. I believe it's a franchise now.
Now it is, yes. So
And
that was
you really created something so special. You know, you were giving people an experience that normally was in an environment that would be, I don't know, double of what you charged. So you were really accessible to so many people. So share with us some of the changes that you've seen and how you're moving forward.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I think that what's happened in the last couple of months has caught everybody in kind of like this position where every business, I don't care what field you were in, was like caught off guard and had to really just take a step back. I mean, in spa and wellness specifically, like with the Now, when we founded that in 2015, that was really about like bringing people together, about having this space where we could, have people come in for a service, connect with each other, connect with our practitioners. And, all of a sudden with this pandemic, they were like, no connection, no touching, no this, no that. And that was like what our core beliefs were all about. So, like luckily, like that business was at a place where it was already established, just with the timeline. And, I think that had it launched at a different time, it maybe wouldn't have worked as well. But specifically, when we did launch the Now, the market was very ripe for that kind of business. And now I think, with the pandemic, specifically that business, it's been put on hold. And there's not a lot of pivoting that can really be done considering like the core business, which is massage. As things in different places are opening up, obviously safe practices will come into play. I think it's really giving people the opportunity to think about safety, and how to be cleanly even more so than we were. And then in our other businesses, like we definitely had to sit at the drawing table and be like, okay, we've launched a golf tournament that we do monthly with a club membership where we're also bringing people together. Okay, how do we bring people together without actually physically being together? And so that was definitely something that we've been able to think about and develop as we've had all this time, sitting at home. So we are able to launch a digital golf tournament where people can compete with each other over the internet and using the technology that is available to us to unite people and bring people together. So, I think that's definitely the way of the future. I think that's how, we have to think about things. I mean, look at us, we're in different states right now, but we're able to connect and share this conversation with so many people. So
Well, I think that's really exciting because, like we said, people want to connect. So I mean, with the way that you're doing that, so you're creating these online experiences, correct?
yes.
Or,
So specifically with the Malbon Golf Club, we are creating a platform where the community of people that are members can come together, contact each other, meet new people, but also compete in weekly tournaments using like this proprietary mat that we developed that we sent out to each of our members, where they all have the same, they have the same mats and the same golf balls, so that when they are competing, it's fair, but they're able to do it and have that community feeling from afar and from a distance. And so, yeah, I mean, as humans, like we all want to just connections. Like we go to dinners, we go to certain places, we do certain things, to meet other people, to see other people, and just to feel that energy exchange. So I feel like, if we're not really able to do that in person safely, then, how we've had to develop means and ways of doing that, using the tools that we do have.
and what I like about that is that people are still doing stuff that they enjoy and that they like. So it also it's like the energy and the vibration around them. It's kind of like I mean, I think a little bit like the gaming, but for golf, right?
Yes, exactly. So, gaming, I have two boys. I'm very familiar with how that works. But yeah, people are connecting and playing with each other from all over the world. And so, we took into consideration, well, how do we do that virtually? It's a similar concept where like you're able to interact with others and use the same, game or equipment, but have like a one-on-one relationship. So it's definitely a similar idea, overarching idea.
Which I think is great. I mean, I know I have a 26-year-old, and I definitely have seen, he doesn't live with me, but I kind of hear that him and his friends have definitely, 9 o'clock at night after they're working or whatever. Normally you would go out for dinner and you would hang out with your friends, you'd go to the gym with them and work out and do all those things. And now all of a sudden they meet at 9 or 9:30 and they play each other and they play groups. And, I mean, obviously it's not the most ultimate way to connect with people, but it definitely is. It's so much better than not having that, you know.
Yeah. And like I think like in your field, like when you look at like what Peloton has been able to do, or like how now Soul Cycle has their in-home bikes, like they're building this fitness community, but from home. And so I think like that's a model that like will definitely translate into many different fields. Like how do you create these communities of people, but through like but from afar.
Right. And it's the truth is like you don't know where the next step even goes. Like I know with these conversations with our people, I've heard from some of the people in our community that some of them watch it and then their girlfriends and them get on a Zoom call and talk about things that they learned and what they implemented and the how they are using some of the knowledge and the wisdom that they're getting from these people how they're implementing it into their life. So that's even giving people more of a meaningful thing, that when they are connecting with each other on Zoom, they're not just sitting around complaining. So I do think that we have to always help upgrade the conversations for people, because at times like this, it's easy to get on the phone and just start complaining with people. Oh my God, and it's like, but if there's a way that which we can help people, again, lift them up, elevate their energy, elevate their vibration, so that they can actually say, wow, these are the things that I learned today, or this is the different food, and this is how I'm going to shift my diet and my exercise and my mindfulness and my mindset. It's all positive, and that's what you're doing. You're really creating to helping people sort of get out of what could sometimes feel like a bit of a rut when you're just not leaving the house and you have something like excited to do. Like there's like that moment of excitement and fun, because we don't have a lot of that now, especially for those of us that are taking the quarantine seriously. We have to, and as human beings, we have to have that. We have to have something like that we look forward to and get excited for.
Yeah, I mean, like that was definitely part of it. Like, developing it with my husband and my son, were like the way that kind of we developed it was like my husband and my son in the beginning of the quarantine, when everybody was taking it very seriously, not leaving their houses whatsoever, really, other than shopping for groceries. Like they would have like cups on, or like a rug in our house, and like they would play with each other, like who could hit it in, and then stay competitive. And then, we were like, oh, well then, like, kind of light bulbs, and Steve and I were like, oh, what if we were creating this kind of concept and we could grow it through our network. And so that was really like the beginning of it. But like you said, we always want things to look forward to, whether that be what used to be like, oh, this trip I'm going on, or this party, or this dinner, or getting together with my girlfriends. And like when all of that's kind of stripped away, it's almost like, oh wow, like what do I have to look forward to? And I think that's when you have to start creating and pulling back, like, and saying like, okay, well, let's get down to the basics, and let's create ways for us to still have things to look forward to and engage with others that that is safe to do.
And I love that visual that I got of your husband and your son actually being creative, creating in the moment just a way to do something. I mean, that's so often where the magic happens. Like at that moment, there's a need that needs to be filled. And two people are present and alive and creating. Like that's what it is. It's like it's nothing more than imagine that we could somehow do this here, and then you put it into action. And that's where so many great ideas are birthed. Like that's what I want these young entrepreneurs that are out there to realize, like what Erica just said, that birthing of this, it's as simple as that. Her husband and son playing with cups and just rigging it up, and then all of a sudden you realize, wow, we have something here.
Yeah, it's very simple. I mean, if you look at that, and then like when you look at successful businesses or people that you admire, like when you really pare back, like, well, what did they start with, or how did it go, or generally it's like a simple thing that then develops and scales as they build their business. But in the beginning, it's just an idea, and it's
just an idea,
and then it's putting that into action, like you said. But it's definitely the starts there, and then hard work and the grit and all of the other stuff comes with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I love that, because I think so often I will hear from young entrepreneurs like, I just don't have that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times the ideas are right in front of you, because all of it. Also, the other part of it is sometimes you will have to allow yourself to be bored.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because out of boredom comes creativity. Like I always said that with my son, like I wasn't that mom that, I mean, I feel like I was very lucky that we didn't have all this technology. So I didn't give him that to stay busy. And because of that, sometimes the things that he would start doing out of boredom was so off the top creative, and I saw that and I was like, wow, that's like an amazing idea. Like, so often out of boredom does it brings out a level of creativity that I'm seeing all around us. Like I'm seeing so much is because everything's just settled. Like the dust is settled, people aren't doing anything. And now you're able to see like new opportunities in the middle of this chaos, which is really what you did, which is just so on point and so inspiring, like really, really inspiring. So
Yeah, I know,
amazing.
I get it. I mean, I think that like when we talk about like mindfulness or being like still, like in a sense, like that's what we've all been kind of forced to do, and like sit with ourselves and be like, okay, well, how do I want to keep going? Or now that I have this time, what can I do with it? And so it's definitely like, I suppose, reframing the situation.
Right. Yep. Reset, reframe, be able to really connect, right? To be able to connect to how things may be moving in the future. Where are people now? Because we are out of balance for sure. Like there's definitely there's this uncertainty, this vibration under all of us, and we have to find that inner peace, that moment to just ground us and say, okay, I'm here. So let's talk a little bit about you're going to be launching a new brand.
Yeah,
And I remember talking to you, I think it was about a year ago,
probably longer, I feel
longer than that. I think when you were just starting to get
like.
interest about it, you were starting to develop it, create it, and now you're bringing this forward. Share with our community what you're doing.
Yeah, so the new business is called The Lighthouse, and it is a wellness business based on light therapy, but also infrared therapy, and other modalities and practitioners that we're going to integrate into it. But really, just about you know, feeling good, feeling good, looking good, happy, just being your best self. And so, when we spoke again, it was like gathering ideas, figuring out how does this really work? Does this work as a business? And it's been something that I've been really interested in because I'm an avid user of light therapy. I've been using it for years. Red light, like I do for inflammation, for my skin, for any kind of wound or healing. I found it originally, I feel like, from maybe like one of a doctor that like maybe a dermatologist that used the and was like, try this, do it consistently, and I really found the results to be like amazing. I know we've spoken about you being very like, advocating for red light therapy specifically, and again with like the concept of that being accessible to more people. So the lighthouse, the original idea for the lighthouse was to have physical locations where we would offer these services at a affordable price so people can integrate it into their like wellness routines and afford it. So literally as the pandemic started to brew up, we were like pen to paper signing our first lease in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
My business partner Jesse and I looked at each other and we're like, okay, like we need to just get like this is not the time to like commit to something. Looking long term again, like this is something where we're going to move forward, but like let's just take a deep breath, see how things pan out, and then make the decision. At that time, everyone was like, oh, quarantine, like a month, 2 months, and we're like, okay, well, in 2 months when this is over, we'll da 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 da. But obviously, it's gone on, and it took us a long time to even get to that point where we found the good location that we really wanted, that worked out, that could meet our needs, and so we were a little bit disappointed. And then, in that being said, like in any business, like when they say to you, or in life, when they say like, oh, well, one door closes, another door opens, like I have become I firmly do believe that like there is opportunities that are presented to you, and if they don't work out, they really weren't for you, because I've seen that something better does come from something that didn't necessarily work out in the first place. So Jesse and I kind of got back to the drawing board and then decided that instead of having physical locations in like, you know, commercial or retail areas, that we were going to create like sanctuaries using realist homes that we could kind of convert into wellness destinations that you don't need to really interact with anybody but who you're with. So we are working on the first one opening in Marin area in Northern California. It's been pushed back a little bit, so we're going back out there at the beginning of next month to just assess everything and get everything up and running, but making sure that we have all the equipment in this space and that you can rent it similar to how you would rent an Airbnb, but it would come with all this added value essentially.
So then people can book this. They could go and stay for a few days and do all the treatments. Is that?
Yeah, so the idea is that you know, it's a retreat. You can really use it how you would like. So we're developing like programs where like if you did want to go and cleanse for 3 days, like we would be able to provide, you know, specific cleanses and have that available when you arrive there, but there's no contact, so everything would be ready for you and your party when you arrived. And then if you wanted just to rent the house and use the red light therapy, use the infrared saunas, use, you know, the plunge pools, and the other like, you know, fun things that we'll have waiting for you when you get there, you can do that as well. So there's really like a menu of options and you can kind of decide, you know, what do you feel like doing. If someone wants to, you know, go there and you know, be very serious about what they're eating and whatnot, we'll help guide you through that. And we're working with getting people to like write us guidelines and how to do that safely, so there's kind of like a menu of options.
I love that. Because I do think that, I mean, first of all, people are not going to be traveling all over the world right now. So we have to sort of figure out, okay, where can we, you know, drive to if we don't want to fly? Where can we drive to and still have, again, feelings of connection? I've been using light therapy. Gosh, I bought this one machine. People thought I was crazy. I put it in one of my guest rooms, and you literally, I believe the yellow light was for inflammation. Then there was the red light, which was the infrared. Then there was a blue light. And it was interesting because one of them was for sleep, and it really helped you create more melatonin and helped you relax. One, I remember my son would always go under it because he was at that age where he was getting acne, and he the blue light was for acne, and he would go under the blue light for the acne. And then and even there was one that was for injury. So I remember him and his football player friends, they would all come over and they would go under the light for different who, you know, who had a sprained ankle, who had a broken finger, and they were all using it as part of the healing. So I love what you're doing, because for me, anytime you can give people options that doesn't involve taking drugs, taking medicine, I believe you're giving them the best gift that you can give someone, you know, because our bodies know how to heal. I mean, they really, our bodies are just so miraculous. And we have to allow them to be in a place of harmony and equilibrium, because that's when they heal the best.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have to be able to bring the nervous system, get the inflammation out, you know, to be able to have our two nervous system come together and say, and then when that happens, again, all of a sudden you look better, your digestion is better, your skin is glowing, you feel good, your joints and ligaments feel much better, you know, and light therapy can be used for all of that.
Yeah, and so, you know, light therapy is amazing. I mean, there's obviously different lights that you can use. So the red is the general one that's really good for like aesthetic purposes, for collagen building, and inflammation as well. They definitely use blue for like killing germs, acne. You know, there's definitely different uses for the different lights. And again, like you said, building more melatonin, your nervous system, your central nervous system, like calming that down. And then again, just like laying somewhere for 20 to 40 minutes and just being still and listening to your meditation tracks and just getting all that benefit in is definitely like a positive in itself. But they discovered the light therapy. NASA was involved in the discovery of it because they were able to grow plants in space using these specific lights. And so the cell regeneration and the turnover was sped up, and that's why it helps heal faster, fill in, missing collagen areas, and just continue to regenerate your cells. And that's really what keeps people obviously young, which helps people heal, keeps down inflammation and just kind of be like more vibrant. So yeah, so I was super interested in bringing that technology, out into the world. I know that a lot of people have tried it from in an aesthetics way, but there's so much more. A lot of plastic surgeons use it when they're having clients heal. Doctors use it again for healing from surgeries. And it's like I was like, why isn't this something that more people know about? Why isn't this something that's widely available? And so that was really like the beginning of the business. And then as we developed this newer concept of having it all live in like a house that's like where we have like a meditation area, the infrared saunas. Like I've become so addicted to those infrared saunas, and going from the hot to the cold and just like getting your blood flowing that way. So I was like, wow, it would be great if there was a place that you can go and rent and have all the services available to you, which are really just administered through equipment essentially.
Well, I will help you create one in Malibu. I personally would love, love, love to have that here. I think it would be amazing. It sounds just so great. And it's really, it's preventative.
Mm-hmm.
If people will integrate this kind of modality into, like you say, into their wellness, into their self-care, then very often we won't get sick. Actually, these are the kind of things that keep us healthy, that keep us in, a good place, because then our bodies don't break down. Our immune system is so much stronger. We can restore, we can heal, we can rejuvenate. So I think you're definitely on. And it's really at a perfect time, because more than ever, people want to stay healthy. That's what we've been hearing about in COVID is, for the most part, anybody gets it unless you have a pre-existing condition. So half of the time people don't even know that they have a that they were already are sick. So for me, it's like the more things that you do for your mind, your body, your emotions, because our physical body definitely follows our mental body and our emotional body. So when people are completely triggered emotionally, I've watched two young people, and I may say young, one was in their late 40s, one was in their mid 50s, literally have heart attacks in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And both of them, it's has nothing to do with food. It's all stress induced.
Oh, totally.
All stress induced, because they are just so much stress. So, if we really want to take care of ourselves, we have to really be able to connect, to be able to calm down our nervous systems, to be able to calm down our minds, like filling up our toolbox now more than ever is so important. Because again, like, think about it, COVID, all of the stuff that's going on politically. I mean, even here in LA, we've had 2 shootings of cops. And when you look at all these things, and now you add the fires and that, it's enough to make anybody go wackadoo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Wackadoo.
Yeah. Again, it's like all these exterior, events that are obviously affecting all of us internally. But again, it's like also the Western medicine system, which I think obviously there's amazing things with what scientists and doctors have been able to discover. Like I've heard recently, like one of our close family friends like went into remission for stage 4 for cancer, and I was just like, wow, this is incredible. Like just the amount, just like the fact that like at this point in our history, we're able to eradicate or get rid of diseases that would have killed anybody, just and still does. So I mean, obviously I think there's definitely like benefits to it, but then like in just like knowledge, like for example, like what they tell you, like my mother suffered from having like issues, stomach issues for years, and she would get diverticulitis, and it was so painful and awful, and the doctors would be like, oh well, like stop eating nuts, or eat like a brat diet, or just eat clean, like. And so she was listening to them, and it kept coming back, and then we sat down and we were like, listen, like we need to figure out like what is it that you're eating. So she did like food sensitivity tests, and realized that like she was super highly allergic to eating eggs and dairy, and was able to cut those out, and has not suffered from the same issues. And that wasn't somebody telling her, oh, you need to do this because that's what a doctor says. Like no doctor said that to her, but it was like by her own research and working with people that were able to educate on that. But it's so interesting, like just something like that, where if you take it into your own hands, you can change your life through whether that's food or whatever else it is. But you sometimes have to take a different path than what we're traditionally taught to listen to.
Well, I've, been on this path of holistic
Yeah.
for many, many years. And I do believe it's an integrated approach.
Yeah.
I definitely have my Western doctor that I believe in. He's a functional medicine doctor. And I also have acupuncturists and other people also in my toolbox, because I found that for me, I love homeopathy. I have an amazing homeopathist practitioner. And, the combination of that, it's pretty much, I go to the doctor twice a year. I have my blood work done, and he does literally 26 vials of blood. He does very extensive blood. And for the most part, everything is where it should be. And if it isn't, we go back, maybe my hormones are a little off, and we have to figure out how to get around that. And like you said, you do have to take things in your own hand. Yesterday I'm actually writing something for a program that I'm doing, and one of the things that really hit me yesterday was that we have to help people from a young age realize that we have to take responsibility for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe that that has to get integrated, at a young age as a parent. Like when you're parenting a 2-year-old, okay, what can this child take care of? Where can he be responsible? Like, and then at 3 years old, and you start implementing. So that energy, that foundation is so strong that I have to take responsibility of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really believe when you walk in that path and you're grounded in it, then you're not always pointing a finger at everybody else that needs to take care of me. And it enables you to have that level of confidence and awareness.
Yeah, definitely.
Awakening, awareness, consciousness. I'm realizing, like I always say, that this piece of food, of course, it's not food, it's my crystal that I love to play with, but that this piece of food, I'm choosing to put this in my mouth right now.
Yeah.
And I am aware that this is going to go inside of me and become part of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And that is very powerful. So I'm taking responsibility. So when I choose healthy, I'm choosing healthy. When I choose unhealthy, I'm choosing them. Nobody's sitting there and hitting you over the head to say, here, you have to eat this McDonald's cheeseburger or something. You're choosing it,
Exactly. Yeah.
And I really believe that it's that level of understanding. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. And all of this stuff that you're doing is empowering people to take responsibility, to be able to look at food, be able to go do, I mean, and how lucky are we now that we have so much, we can get on to Google and we could get so much research.
Definitely. No, totally. I mean, we have so much at our fingertips now with just like services and, getting food from different places and making sure where we know where it comes from and beyond food, just like, again, exercise, wellness. There's just so much, opportunity to be in that space. And again, like you said, it's definitely decisions that we make. And all those decisions add up to how we feel and how we perform and how we interact with each other and our families and all of that stuff. So it's so intertwined. And I think like as the year, as you're on these journeys with in life, you start to really realize that more and more.
Right. Well, you kept talking about that, and our slogan, we have this Monday morning mindset and movement, and the slogan for that is feel good, look good, do good. Mm-hmm. And it really is aligned with what you do, because when you feel good, you really feel good. You feel good. You look good. Yeah. You start do stuff. And then the truth is then you sort of do good. You have a tendency to, connect with people, raise them up, not complain as much. You're sort of realize that there's a reciprocation in life. Like you give, you receive, you give, you receive. Like there's this flow around you that's always flowing. And it's like, there's a vibration and energy that's like good.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. I feel like, we all go through those ups and downs. Like, so there'll be days where you're in like a bad mood and you're just complaining and you're like, oh, this is awful. And I don't like, and you can feel that like your energy is like at a low vibration and you're not like attracting positive things. But then like, then they'll have the next day you're feeling a lot better and, you did your workout and you look great and you like the, and then you're like being positive and you can tell that like, everybody around you is like lighter and things are better. And it's really just nothing's actually changed, but how you are reacting and how you're feeling. So,
yeah. It's amazing. But okay, so we only have a few minutes left. And I just want to ask you this question because we have so many entrepreneurs, so many young entrepreneurs on. So, what would you tell? What are the 3 things that you think are essential in building a business today in this new reality?
So, I mean, in my experience, I think that having an idea, like you said, that fills a need in our society, whether that be, a need of having a golf brand that speaks to a younger demographic. And again, like my businesses have all come from things that I've personally, felt like I needed. And so I think the idea and having that and filling a need is definitely like one of the things that would, help build a business. Secondly, I think that, not getting discouraged and continuing to like move forward when things don't seem like they're working out, or if you hit a slump or you have some sort of obstacle, like every single person who's ever started a business, they've gone through something that they didn't think they could, and they've come out on the other side. And I think that is like the hard part about starting or being an entrepreneur. You have to just go over that and feel like, okay, having enough belief in your ideas to continue that path even when it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So I think that's really important. And then, honestly, I think it's like making sure that you're having fun along the way and doing something that you love, because if you're not going to do something you love, like you're not going to have the passion to get through the hard times. And so, there will be hard times. I think you really just have to do something that you believe in and that you love, so that it outweighs when you're like, oh my gosh, this is awful, or, this period of this is not something that I want to be doing. So yeah, I definitely think those are 3 aspects that are important for any entrepreneur, anyone starting a business.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. And just a little bit of the stuff that I heard, like you work with your husband on one brand. So I would say also, and then I guess you talked about working with your friend Jess. Is it Jessie?
Jessie is my business partner in the Lighthouse.
So it's like having people around you that you're collaborating with, that like that number one, hopefully they have a skill set that you don't have, so that when you come together, you both come with different skill sets, right? I think that's really important for young people to, and to be able to ask. Like, I think right now it's like when you need help, you have to be able to reach out. Like, I think you have people that you're mentoring. I mean, people that you can go to that are mentoring you or helping you, because there's so much. I think people really want to help people right now.
Yeah, and I think that that is so true. And having a good team, and like you said, the skill set part, because nobody can be good at every single thing. So, like when you're hiring or when you're bringing on partners, like it's definitely to bring in people that complement you and bring something to the table that you need support with. So that, yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like learning is like you can't do everything. So delegation and bringing on people to grow, and yeah.
You know, I very rarely, I invest in a lot of, I angel invest, but I very rarely invest in something when there's only one founder,
Mm-hmm.
because I just know how hard it is
Mm-hmm.
you can't do everything.
Yeah.
But when there's two or three founders, that there's a higher chance that it's actually proven, higher chance that it's going to be more successful.
Yeah, and work with people.
Yeah, and you don't burn out, because you really do burn out. You can only go at that pace for so long. It's not sustainable forever, to just keep going and going and going. And yeah, this was great, Erica. Thank you so much for sharing. We're going to put some stuff on our laviniaerrico.com website. So some of the stories, I think, even if you want to share the link so people can get on and experience the golf. What is the golf online program called?
So our brand is called Malbon Golf, and we sell apparel and accessories and lots of other fun golf stuff. But the Malbon Golf Club, so it's malbongolfclub.com, and that's where you can see all the information about like the digital tournaments and physical tournaments, which we have in Los Angeles. So we're doing both.
Can anyone sign up?
Yeah, well, so there is a process, like an application process. It is a club, so we do have people that are going through the applications and making sure that everyone just aligns with kind of the vibe of the club, and making sure it's definitely like a safe and fun place for everyone. But you can apply, and yeah, I mean, I think for the digital side of it, it's a little bit more, like less physical. So there's a little bit different requirements, but it's all on the website. So yeah, and then the Lighthouse coming soon. I'll share more information about like our opening dates and how you book and all of that stuff as well.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
When you come down here, I will definitely be one of your first customers.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. I have two powerhouses on next week from the One Hotel, and they're going to be sharing with us their journey of getting back in business during this crazy time. All right. Have a great week. Stay safe.